thought I would come out and make a talking video about a few items. Might be a long video, depends on how much I have to say about each one. I'm going to start off with the one that leads off the title, and that's having to do with how much childishness or childish behavior you'll see in audio. And I think that can be found in any topic, actually. It's not just limited to audio. Whatever people are passionate about, you're going to find some so-called childish behavior, as in people get easily offended or get miffed or pissed off or have, petty disagreements about things that in the long run really don't matter that much. But from their perspective, because they're so deeply into it, like they become very big issues for them. So like the reason why that is, from my point of view, and I've been mostly inspired to think about this stuff because of my time on YouTube and seeing the way that people react to certain things. And I've, distilled some observations over time based on that. And what I come up with is that, like, if you have a topic that you're interested in, you want to have, you're kind of, driven to be or to have an opinion about it. All right. Now, this is regardless of how much actual knowledge you have about the topic. As strange as that might sound, but just look around the world. You'll see this all over. People have very strong opinions based on a very limited understanding of the actual topic. See, because, take any other subject that you're not actually interested in, and you're not going to have an opinion about it, right? Say somebody stops on the road here and starts talking to you in great detail about your grass, right? Maybe he's selling something. Maybe he's just trying to make conversation. This is what he's really into, grass. So you're standing there and you say, well, I don't know. It's grass. It's green. It grows. I cut it with the lawnmower. It's out back there. End of story. You don't have an opinion, especially a strong opinion about that, because you don't care about it. And I'm pretty sure that that's a situation that you've run into before, where you're talking to someone and they're going on and on about something that you really don't care about. But here's the thing about that. In that situation, when somebody's talking about something that you don't care about, that you're not interested in, you're free to say, I don't know. When he asks your opinion on the grass, you don't have a problem saying, I don't know. It's out back there, man. It's green. It grows. I cut it with a lawnmower. So in that way, you're not backing yourself into a corner. And this is what a lot of people do when they have strong opinions about things. And that opinion is based on just a superficial understanding, or an understanding that is based on what they want to believe about the topic rather than what actually is. So you could say, in other words, that the dividing line between potential childish behavior is your ability to say, I don't know. As in, admit that you don't know everything about the topic, and therefore you don't really have an opinion based in fact. Because more and more these days in everything, the world in general, people are being indulged on their feelings and what they think it should be rather than what it actually is. And this indulgence relates directly to how much nonsense you find in audio today, because these ideas, rather than being dismissed out of hand, as they should be, are indulged. Well, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. when in actual fact, there's no proof to back them up. Right? You allow the doubt in, and you indulge the idea, and therefore it spreads like wildfire. And you'll look around the world, you'll see exactly the same thing. With the internet came a lot more of this indulgence, these alternate ideas. And, for the most part, that's good. I mean, you've got the accumulated knowledge of all time at your fingertips today, but a lot of people lack the ability to sort through it. They need to actually dig. You have to put in the work to sort out what's true from what's not true, as in the way people want it to be versus the way it actually is. And people are lazy that way. They want the fast. I've talked about this before as well. With these speaker measurements, giving all the data you need. There's a pronouncement at the end. It's good or it's bad. Totally binary. Good, bad. That's what they were looking for. They're looking for very definite answers to complex problems. And often they'll land on very small details that just muddy the water in their thinking about these things because they lack the perspective. When you don't understand a topic fully, you get sucked into these rabbit holes of small details where it seems like they would make a big difference, but in actuality, they don't. If they make a difference, that doesn't mean that the difference is significant. And if they make a difference, that doesn't mean that the difference is better. So I think I said as much as I need to say on that. Anybody that's actually listening should be able to get what I'm saying. And that brings me into another problem with people and the way they listen to people, especially on complex topics where there's some subtlety or nuance, or you actually have to listen, pay attention to what they're saying. Because a lot of people go through life, they're listening to their friends talk about, the usual bullshit or whatever. They're half listening, they're distracted by other things. When they have to stop and actually listen to someone, they can't do it. And there's a lot of talk about decreasing attention spans, but there's been no evidence, no actual evidence that our attention spans have gotten any shorter. The problem that we have is that there's too many distractions. We have an option. We can listen to this guy prattle on about stuff that I'm only half listening to, or we can glance at our phone and check out an Instagram post or something like that. So we could multitask. This other idea that's absolutely insane, that you can multitask. Well, very few people have that ability. I don't even know if there's anybody that actually has the true ability to do two things at once where they have to use their full attention. Okay? It doesn't seem to be impossible. I've tried doing this myself before, and I'm not particularly stupid, and I can't do it. When I'm concentrating on something, I'm going to get the best results. When I'm listening to someone talk, or when I'm reading something, if I'm concentrating on that, then I get the most from it. I get a better understanding. I get a true understanding of what they're saying. I read all the time, and, you can sit there and you can read, and you start to get a little bit distracted. Maybe whatever you're reading is not that engaging. And you can read through the whole page without absorbing a thing. And in the meantime, you're thinking about something else. So this is what I mean. Multitasking is something that a lot of people say, but almost nobody has the ability to do. You need to actually pay attention to listen, like when you're listening to people, to understand exactly what they're saying, if they're talking about something that is important. Okay, so I probably said enough about that. I want to talk a little bit more about the speaker, the open baffle three-way speaker that I designed and talked about in a previous video, that I was thinking that I would sell. So I made that video specifically for that. I gotta pull down my sleeves. It's damn cold in here. I was thinking about, building that speaker to sell. And that, I got a lot of people that misunderstood what I was saying there. Okay, now when I talked about it, I said that the way I would set it up is with a Kickstarter. That's an actual website online, and you put a project on there, and the way it works is an all or nothing thing. So you set your goal. If I wanted to sell 20 pairs of these, right, at $2,000 a pair, that would be the goal. Like that would make the goal $40,000 in total. So the way that thing works is that it won't go ahead unless that goal is reached. As in, you go to the site, you pledge to buy the speakers for the $2,000, and that adds to that, that goes into that total. And when the total is reached, then and only then, the project goes ahead. And I offered as an option the plans and possibly also an assembled pair of crossovers, right? So you could buy the plans alone, and that would get you into the project, right? That would be a low-cost option for people, first of all, that can't afford to spend the money on the speakers. Second of all, are in a place outside of North America. I would say that the only real viable shipping option for this offering is North America, like continental North America, simply because shipping would be too much. Okay, so the plans would be an option to get in on the project, and also the crossovers could be shipped anywhere in the world, and the shipping shouldn't be that much. Okay, but once again, they weren't the idea behind this. They were just like an add-on, right? As in, I would do those if the project went ahead. As in, yes, they would add up. Like like when this Kickstarter started, that option would be there. But if the total didn't reach the total for the number of speakers that I had to sell, as in that fixed dollar amount, whether it's 40,000, whatever that is, then the whole thing wouldn't go ahead. Because, okay, first of all, you have to look around the industry and say, well, who is manufacturing a speaker and also selling plans for 20 bucks a pop? Almost nobody. Nobody's giving up their IP. Okay, that's intellectual property. The design of the speaker, the design of the crossover. These are very important things. It's a critical thing. Take a lot of time. Who is doing that? Nobody. Well, almost nobody. All right. That's selling a finished speaker is selling plans to go along with it, to get a cheaper option. Nobody's doing that. My thing is that I like building things. I like making things. So I would be willing to build finished speakers and then ship them out and make money from that. But I'm not willing, because a lot of people have mentioned this, I wouldn't be willing to mill out blank baffles on my CNC from MDF, not solid wood, MDF or whatever, and mail those out at basically a pittance or a very low cost. I'm not willing to do that because I would be doing this so that I could be making speakers. That's the only reason why I'd be doing this, so that I would be involved in making speakers, and more steadily, because I'm kind of driven to make speakers, as you can tell if you watch my videos over the last 3 years. But I mean, at the end of the day, how many speakers do I actually need? Not that many. So that would be the goal. It wouldn't be like I would have to make money from it, because otherwise it's not a business. If you don't make money from it, like it's not my goal to get out and give people speakers. No charity here, no altruism here. I'm not giving up my time, my equipment, my expertise that's been building over 50 years to make nothing from it. So the money, but it's secondary, okay? It's secondary to what I wanted to do. And the way I saw this progressing long term, if it was to take off at all, would be that every year or maybe every 2 years, there would be a new model and a new limited run. Okay, so this time it would be that 3-way open baffle. The next one would be something different. And I would not make that open baffle again. As in, that would be the limited run, signed, numbered, the whole thing. It'd be, special in that regard. And then the next time, whenever that happened to be, in a year, 2, 3, 5, whatever, it would be another limited run, but a different design. Okay? Because one of the things about this whole thing, and the reason why I'm hesitant to be making plans for any of this stuff, is that speaker drivers go out of production. And I'm not at the point where I have a relationship with a manufacturer where I can order ones made to my specification and get a quantity, 1,000 or something like that. I'm not in that position, all right? And you would have to be in that position to count on the design. And then you would be set up into a more retail situation where you'd be constantly shipping out products to consumers with a very low margin. That's not the idea here. That was never the idea, never my intent. I didn't want to get into competing with Parts Express or anything like that. Or you can go and buy plans and you can buy, knockdown boxes from MDF. And I never did want to get into that. What I wanted to do was build speakers and have a way so that I could continue doing that and have it make it worth my while to do that, so that I wouldn't be here slaving away for pennies on what I could make just doing the other stuff that I do and enjoy myself doing it. This would be 100% for my enjoyment, my own personal satisfaction. Not to prove anything to anyone that my speakers' designs are good. That was another question I got. Well, you're not established in the industry. How do we know your designs are good? Well, you don't. You wouldn't until you heard them. And the only way you're going to hear them, especially that design, is to commit to the thing, see the thing go through, and then get your speakers at the end of it, and then hook them up and listen to them. That'd be the only way. I couldn't set up a showroom or anything like that. I couldn't make a deal with a distributor because, like I said, it would be a limited run idea all the way through. That was my intention from the start. Limited run, limited run, limited run, however many years I wanted to do this. And I would only do it as long as I personally got some satisfaction from it.